that was the seed of like making the new Murderdolls record. And I'm like, this is gonna be unlike anything that's out right now.
But wasn't that frustrating for you maybe a little bit? That you had already these plans in mind and that it took so long to
No, no, no.
rejoin
These are
them?
just, I mean, I write constantly, you know, and like I said, a lot of these songs were songs that, to be honest with you, were songs that I had put, that I didn't think I would ever use. And so when it came time we started talking about a record, he goes, all right, well, send me songs you got. So I started sending him just all this stuff, and I'm actually looking, I'm going, he's going to hate that song, or he's going to hate that song. And he comes back with
Why
songs.
did you think that he would hate
Just
it?
because I'm my worst critic, you know. You know, I'm really critical on myself about things. There's certain things I'll do and go, that's great, and then certain things I go, I don't know, I need a little bit more convincing about it. And I sent him all these songs, and then these are songs that I thought would be throwaways, and they're songs now that I can't believe I even questioned it, which are like my favorite songs on the record, which are like Nowhere, Summertime Suicide. They're just songs that I've had, like just the stems. They weren't completed, but like I had the stems of, and you know, that he heard and went, oh my gosh, we got to do this, and I can take it this way. And now, you know, so that's the great thing about having like a partner and that you write with, is like, because you have someone to second guess you, you know, because sometimes you don't hear that, and he heard all these things, and it's one of the best songs on the record.
But for you, wasn't it strange maybe then you send each other songs and you don't see each other for over 5 years? The first time you maybe had the idea to come back together and write, were you a bit nervous or a little bit maybe uncertain a little bit
I think,
how it would turn out?
For us, we just had to get reconnected. That was the only strange thing, and it wasn't a bad thing at all. It wasn't like it was a fight or anything. It's just you know, you haven't seen each other for 5 years. You know, all the stuff we've been through and just different things, you know, and you know, so.
When actually was this the first time that you first saw each other?
In 5 years.
When was
we
that?
saw each other in 2005 for the last time, and then we saw each other when we started recording, which I believe was in March 19th was when we saw each other. You know, so it's 5 years of not seeing each other, you know, talking on the phone, you know, but it's still not, but so we had to reconnect, you know, and it was strange at first, you know. It's kind of like we were both like, all right, we got to get to know each other, but that was over with. We just talked.
It was cool. Like, you know, we knew that eventually there might be a possibility after we'd already written off the idea of ever making a Murderdolls record again. We were like, let Sleeping Dogs Lie. We're done with it. And then we started talking again, and I was like, I know that we could really make a record, but we kept. This is like 2.5 years ago, you know, before we started. So like it was great doing text messages and all this stuff and joking around with each other. But you know, on my way down to LA, and he was already at the studio that we recorded in, which is in the Hollywood Hills, called Perfect Sound Studios. And he was pretty nervous, and I was too. But we connected, and then we hung out that night. And we already had a good chunk of songs that we've been working on like the last 2 weeks. You know, stems that he had and songs that I had in my head and stuff. So we kind of mapped it out. And the first song we sat down the next day is a song on the record called Homicide Drive. And this is what is really special about that song. We sat down and we knew, like, we had the verse.
We had half the song.
We had half the song. So I sat down on my drums, and he was holding one of my guitars. He was right in front of me, and his headphones on. We looked at each other, I counted that song off. And the drum track that you hear on Homicide Drive, that's all the way through. And the thing is, it was only, I already knew what I wanted to do, but I kind of explained it to him. But I would mouth things to him, like when he was playing the riffs, and he followed me right through.
He would just nod at me.
I would nod at him like this, and I would say something to him. So that track is a first take, and that's the first time we've played together in 6 years. And like Zeus is like, let's do another one. I'm like, nope, because that's too special to me. That was the seed of like making the new Murderdolls record. And then I'm like, this is going to be unlike anything that's out right now. That's the very first time we played together in 6 years, and that's the first track that I did for the record, and it's unedited.
Can you remember what was your reaction when you stopped playing for that first song? What
we both just stopped and looked at each other, and we just smiled. We was like, all right, we're back, we got this. And it only was just starting there, and it was like every day it was just like, you know, the more we hung out, and that was the thing, you know, it was like, you know, we didn't, you know, when we were on tour, You know, that's how he and I met. Like, you know, we got to be friends on tour, but we also had other band guys around, and you know, all the madness of touring and playing and everything. And this was the first time we were locked in a studio. We had to live together for a month, you know, and we got up at the same time. We were on schedules, recording. So
we didn't go out once.
yeah, we locked ourselves in this. We had this beautiful place, you know. Everybody, oh, how could you go crazy there? But we saw nobody but each other. So it kind of brought this extra intensity to the record, because it really started to feel like we were trapped up there. You didn't see anyone. You saw the pool guy every once in a while.
We foiled all put aluminum foil
So it was
over all the
blacked out.
windows. So it was completely blacked out. So we really didn't a lot of times know what time of day it was.
Yeah, and it's not, like I said, we don't bullshit in interviews. We're not trying to, oh, we got black hair, we're vampires.
Yeah, I
we're trying to be
hate
in
that
the dark.
shit. That's not it. It was just that, like, okay,
just
well, I
hate
didn't want to
what-
be on a schedule. I
Yeah.
mean, like, we know when we go to bed, we're going to get up around the same time, we're going to eat real quick, we're going to go right in the studio, and we're going to start working.